Welcome back to my YouTube channel Sriram Devarajan. Today I am going to discuss another problem from CSIR NET Mathematical Science question paper from June 2025. This problem is from part C. The problem is 68th problem in part C. The given problem is a f maps from r square to r be a twice continuously differentiable non-zero function such that the condition f of t x1 comma t x2 equal to f of t x1 comma t x2 equal to t power 3 f of x1 comma x2 for all t greater than 0 and x1 comma x2 belongs to r square. Which of the following statements are necessarily true? Four options are given. First option is 3 times dou f by dou x1 at 1 comma 1 plus 3 times dou f of 1 comma 1 by dou x2 equal to f of 1 comma 1. Second option is dou f by dou x1 1 comma minus 1 minus dou f by dou x2 1 comma minus 1 equal to 3 times f of 1 comma minus 1. Third one is x1 square dou square f by dou x1 square into f of into x1 comma x2 plus x2 square dou square f by dou x2 square x1 comma x2 plus 2 times x1 x2 dou square f x1 comma x2 by dou x1 dou x2 equal to 6 times f of x1 comma x2. Last option is x1 square dou square f dou x1 square x1 comma x2 plus x2 square dou square f of x1 comma x2 by dou x square plus 2x1 x2 dou square f by dou x1 into dou x2 x1 comma x2 equal to 9 times f of x1 comma x2. Since the problem is from part C, more than one option may be the correct option. We have to choose the correct option from the following four options. From the condition given, f of t x1 comma t x2 is t cube f of x1 comma x2. We know very well from calculus point of view, if you have f of t x1 comma t x2 which is equal to t power n f of x1 comma x2, then we say that this f is a homogeneous functions of degree n. Here what is given, f of t x1 t x2 equal to t power 3 f of x1 comma x2. Here n is 3. Again from the calculus we have a result. The first one is x dou f by dou x plus y dou f by dou y equal to n into f. This is nothing but Euler's theorem. Also we have another result, x square dou square f by dou x square plus y square dou square f by dou y square plus 2xy dou square f by dou x dou y equal to n into n minus 1 into f. Here in this problem not x comma y is given. Here it is given as x1 and x2. Now I am going to check the option. The first option 3 times dou f by dou x1 1 comma 1 plus 3 times dou f by dou x2 1 comma 1 equal to f of 1 comma 1. Here x1 is 1 and x2 is 1. First option I am going to check. For first option I am going to apply the first result. x1 dou f by dou x1 plus x2 dou f by dou x2. Here n is 3 times f. Also given f at 1 comma 1. Therefore x1 is 1 dou f of 1 comma 1 plus 1 into dou f of 1 comma 1 by dou x2, which is equal to 3 times f 1 comma 1. If you divide by 3 or multiply by 3, dou f of 1 comma 1 by dou x1 plus 3 into dou f of 1 comma 1 by dou x2, 9 times f of 1 comma 1. See the options. LHS 3 times dou f by dou x1 1 comma 1 plus 3 times dou f by dou x2 1 comma 1. But LHS okay. But what about RHS? RHS I am getting 9, but it is given the problem f of 1 comma 1. First option wrong option. In the second option, put x1 equal to 1 and x2 equal to minus 1. In the second option, x1 is 1. Therefore, dou f of x1 comma 1, 1 comma minus 1, x2 is minus. Therefore, dou f of 1 comma minus 1 by dou x2, which is equal to n times f. N is 3 times f at 1 comma minus 1. Now check the option. Second option, dou f by dou x1 1 comma minus 1 minus dou f by dou x2 1 comma minus 1, 3 times f of 1 comma minus 1. Second option is the correct option. Now you have to check which one is correct from the remaining options, whether it is third option is a correct one or the fourth option is a correct one. See, the third option is given in the LHS x1 square dou f by dou x1 square. See the results from the second one. The same thing in the LHS. In place of x and y, I have to replace x1 and x2. Therefore, I am going to check the third one. x1 square, I am replacing x by x1, dou square f by dou x1 square at x1 comma x2 plus not y square. It is given in the problem x2 square. Therefore, replace y by x2. x2 square dou square f by dou x2 square at x1 comma x2 plus 2x1 x2 dou square f by dou x1 dou x2 at for f x1 comma x2, which is equal to, see the result, second one, n into n minus 1 of f. Here n is 3 into 3 minus 1, 2 of f at x1 comma x2. Answer is 6 times f. 6 times f of x1 comma x2. 6 times f of x1 comma x2. Third option is the correct option. Fourth one is the wrong option. Third option is correct. Fourth option is the wrong one. For this problem, option 2 and option 3 correct option. Since the problem is from part C for 4.75 marks, for this problem, second and third options are the correct option. I will upload more problems from CSIR.NET Mathematics Science question paper. Subscribe my channel, like my channel, share my channel to a friend. Thank you.